I did, since it's through the frame rail there, I went through the front here. Let me grab my flashlight. Went through the front here. There they are in there. With the wash, I got lock nuts on there and everything, so those shouldn't go nowhere. So what I used was right there to reach up in there. I used the tried to get the air ratchet in there to tighten it down. I just wasn't able to love that, so I grabbed that. Use air ratchet on the top. So it's got the rubber isolators in there. They're squished down a little bit, but that's I think how they should be, so they're nice and tight. And I mean, it's got a little bit of give to it, but it's how it's supposed to be. That sucker, it's good to go. And this is the oil line coming from the turbo. It's looping right up here, and then this is going to come out and go to the valve cover here, just like so. So that is what I'm about to do next. Get the fuel lines popped back off and get that valve cover off, and get the hole drilled for this bad boy, get it tapped, get all that back on there, and then the drain system is finished. And then I will need to just measure for a feed line and then go buy a feed line, and then the oil system will all be done. So I am waiting on a bigger drill bit and a tap for this, for the oil drain. So I am going to start messing with the throttle body and putting the nitrous plate on, because I went and got the bolts earlier. I got the longer bolts and a gasket for it. So I'm going to go ahead, and I got it all unplugged. I'm about to get the throttle cables off. I'm going to have to make a bracket here to bring it forward. So yeah, I'll have to make that here in a little bit, but yeah, I'm going to get the throttle line cables off of it, and then get the throttle body unbolted, slip the throttle plate in there, and torque it back down. So this is nearly the end product of the turbo oil system. I still got to route this a correct way. I'm just waiting to do my fuel rails and injectors and everything, and I'm going to set this down underneath here so it can run nice and smooth along here, and then it'll tuck down inside of there and go back and down to the ICT billet piece I got down there. So that's the feed that I got it straight off of here coming down. Then I got my fitting pointed like this, and then a 90 fitting on the end of the other end of the hose that brings it up. This is the scavenge pump hooked up. The turbo oil, the return line comes down and then comes up to here to the inlet of the pump, and then comes out this side and goes around to the valve cover. And I made sure to try and line it up with a drain, a block drain back down to the pan, so it's not just filling up in there and having to run in wherever the drain back is. But so that's all that set up there. Some of y'all are watching this and probably thinking, why is your drain coming up? Well, the way that these pumps are, they suck and they push. So with that being said, you can mount this thing 10 foot in the air. I mean, maybe not that high, but you can mount it higher, further away, and all that stuff, and it'll suck the oil out of the turbo, and then it'll push it into the motor. So that's the whole point of running one of these, because especially on these F-body kits, the turbo is so low, it's level with the pan, can't gravity feed. So you get one of these bad boys. So, but I like the way that this turned out here. It looks pretty good for what it is, and being cluttered up in here with all of this stuff, it fit in there pretty good, and I think it's going to work really well. So that's the turbo oil system. And I got my plate on here, as you've seen in the last video. That's all hooked up, ready to go. I'll find a better way to get those held up, and I'll also probably, once this gets filled up with oil and warmed up, it'll probably start to sag down some. So I got a bolt for this back cylinder head bolt, and I'm going to build a little bracket that comes off, and it'll just have a little something to hold this up so it's not drooping down into the belt. So that's something I'll have to figure out as well here very shortly. And I did get this bracket down here to work, because the factory alternator bracket, the way that the turbo kit puts the T4 flange through here, there wasn't going to be a way for the belt to go straight off of here down to the crankshaft. So I had to cut the upper arm off of this, but I've got the lower bolt, and then there's a bolt right behind here that you can't see. So I got the lower bolt, and I got another bolt in right there, and I can get a smaller bolt and put it in this third arm if I want to, but I don't think that's necessary. But that's all lined back up now too, so I got a way to come back up and then down to the crankshaft to the harmonic balancer to get that away from there. So that's a good little update for y'all. I'm going to be redoing the whole fuel system on this thing, so that's going to be another thing. That'll be a whole another video. But it's going to be new rails, new injectors, new dash 8 line all the way coming up from it. And I also am doing the boost reference fuel pressure regulator and a dash 6 return and all that stuff. I got all that stuff here other than the injectors, so just gonna wait for injectors, and then that'll be a whole nother video on this bad boy. But so that's where I'm gonna end it off for now. Actually, I'll show you this too. I got my timing controller and launch controller mounted up here. Instead of it just being tucked where the factory computer is back in that corner, I got it actually mounted up here. Ran the lines back and back over the booster, and then I got it plugged in right here in between the coil bracket and on that side as well. So that's all hooked up. I didn't want to cut this off because this is for a map sensor. So later on, if I wanted to put a map sensor input to this, I can plug this into a generic map sensor and be able to have this. This actually advances, and you can set it to rate to ramp up timing and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna leave that hooked up, and I just kind of got it tucked back here behind here for now. That's all hooked up and mounted and everything. So yeah, that's a good little update. Just got to get a couple more things knocked out.